This gate is now under the control of the Whispering Pines Homeowners Association, she announced, her tone laced with that fake sweetness only a power-hungry official could pull off. The heavy-duty padlock snapped shut with a clang that echoed like a prison door. Barbara, the HOA president, a woman whose imposing figure matched her domineering attitude, stood there in her lavender jogging suit, hands planted on her hips, gazing at her work as if it were a masterpiece. She had chained and locked the main gate to my 5-acre property, the sole vehicle entry from the road. My pickup was inside, my wife's sedan too, and I was stranded outside after my morning jog, keys useless in my grip. The sheer nerve of it left me speechless. That familiar chill of anger stirred in my chest, the kind I'd mastered during tours in Iraq. But it simmered just below my composed exterior. This wasn't merely a gate. It was the portal to my haven, the land I'd earned after 2 decades serving my country. And this lady, this small-time dictator of the suburbs, had seized it with a cheap lock and overblown ego. I watched her shuffle back to her golf cart and drive away, leaving me locked out of my own world. My property, chosen for its seclusion and single secure access, had become a trap, with her holding the key. It wasn't just fury, it was an insult. As a retired combat engineer, I'd constructed and dismantled tougher barriers under fire. The absurdity was palpable. I'd faced militants, roadside bombs, and military red tape, all to settle into a serene life in the North Carolina foothills, only to be barricaded by someone whose biggest drama was picking the right shade of tan for garage doors. My wife, Emily, approached the gate, her expression one of shock. "What in the world has she done?" she whispered, as if Barbara might overhear. I stared at the sturdy chain coiled around the steel bars, the shiny new padlock mocking us in the sunlight. "She's declared war, Emily," I said evenly, "and she doesn't know who she's up against." The tranquility I'd fought for was shattered. The struggle for Whispering Pines had begun, and I intended to end it. My peaceful retirement was about to turn noisy. It started with a crisp, gratifying cut of bolt cutters. This was beyond a gate now. It was about standing firm. Barbara had crossed a line in my driveway gravel, and I wouldn't let it slide. I took a steadying breath, the technique from my therapist, focusing my mind. Rage faded into sharp resolve. This was a strategy session, not a brawl. First, survey the terrain. I paced my 5 acres, shifting from homeowner to tactician. My lot was an original tract, bordering the newer Whispering Pine subdivision on one side. The developer who created the neighborhood had formed the HOA, a detail that would prove vital. I'd bought my land straight from the old farming family to dodge such oversight. My deed, survey, and papers were safe kept in a fireproof box. Little did I know they'd become my weapons. Back at the gate, Emily waited, worry etching her face. "Robert, what now? Don't go overboard." I met her eyes, my steadfast partner through deployments and relocations. "Overboard is what she did," I softened. "What I'll do is systematic." In my workshop, I grabbed the 36-inch bolt cutters solid and ready. First, I filmed a full circle, my spot on the public road, the locked gate, the HOA sign nearby, and my boundary markers. I zoomed on the lock, chain, and absence of official seals. This was amateur overreach. Propping my phone to record, I positioned the cutters on the padlock shackle and squeezed. The metal yielded with a snap. The lock halves dropped. I uncoiled the chain, entered my land, and bagged the pieces with timestamps. The breach, under 5 minutes. Not fury, but procedure. Inside, I drafted my first letter to the HOA board. Unauthorized restriction of private property and breach of security. This was just the start. It was about safeguarding my home, a lesson Barbara sorely needed. Her reply came in 2 days, a stiff notice taped to my gate, listing violations. A $250 fine for an unapproved gate that predated the neighborhood by decades. And $500 for damaging HOA property, the lock she'd illegally placed. Charging me for removing her offense was hypocrisy at its peak. I peeled it off, noting the sticky residue on my gate. Photos taken, filed in a new binder labeled Barbara. Sections grew: letters, evidence, timeline, allies. Military habits dies hard. Records were my ammo. I sent certified letters to each board member, disputing the fines with state laws on trespass and access. Attached, lock photo, bolt cutter receipt, and bills for my time and gate cleanup. Petty? Yes, but tyranny speaks that language. Emily watched me seal envelopes. Robert, is this wise? You're aggravating her. I nodded. She invaded our space. Now she'll learn the cost of pushing back. This wasn't personal anymore. Barbara's excess signaled deeper issues. If she targeted me, others suffered too. My goal expanded: dismantle her regime, document by document. At the post office, the clerk eyed the envelopes. Trouble at Whispering Pines? She smirked. Just seeking rule clarity, I said. She laughed. They need more than that. A hint the neighborhood watched, a blind spot for Barbara. My log detailed everything. I was fortifying with facts. The letters hit like precision strikes. Signature cards confirmed receipt. Barbara's email: account delinquent, claiming unanimous board approval and accruing fees. Unanimous rang false, likely intimidation. Time for intel. At the county office, I pulled HOA files, incorporation, bylaws, CC and RS plats. Home with copies, I dissected them over coffee. Inconsistencies abounded, dubious amendments, broad presidential powers. The plats revealed gold: a 1988 easement, 20 feet wide along my edge, predating the HOA. My gates sat in it. Their authority stopped at my line. Barbara had invaded foreign soil. A powerful fact, but I held it. Winning the gates skirmish wasn't enough. I aimed to end her abuses. Allies next. Strolling the uniform streets, I sought rebellion signs. 3 blocks away, an elderly man tended flowers by a navy blue mailbox post, defiant amid beige mandates. Nice garden, I said. He looked up cautiously, then smiled. Harold Jenkins, late 70s, arthritic but dedicated. Robert Thompson, from the old Carter farm. Recognition dawned. The stronghold. Heard about your gate clash with our president. Word spread. She has a unique take on power, I replied. Harold scoffed. Despotic fits better. She's fined me $200 monthly for 3 years over this post. My late wife, Margaret, adored Navy. Painted it after she passed. Violation came before it dried. The cruelty stung. A grieving widower harassed over sentiment. I saw her tyranny's depth, crushing spirits, not just enforcing rules. Whispering Pines was her fiefdom, ruled by dread. Harold, let's talk. You're not alone anymore. Harold unlocked the neighborhood's secrets. Over coffee amid Margaret's photos, he chronicled a decade of grievances. His file box dwarfed mine. Notices, letters, checks. She took over 8 years ago after the first president left. Treasure by default, then it soured. Tales of families find out. The Walkers for a walnut playset over pine. Widow Ellis threatened over a satellite despite federal protections. Patterns emerged, preying on vulnerable. Elders, young parents, introverts. With Harold's leads, we canvassed discreetly. One porch at a time. He paved the way. I follow with evidence. Asking, has this happened to you? Unleash stories. Linda, a nurse mom, fined for tall grass during shifts. Michael, remote worker, cited for business via delivery. Our trio, me strategic, Harold historical, Michael tech savvy, formed. She's a bully exploiting imbalances, Michael said. He built a secure forum for sharing docs. 2 weeks, 15 households joined, diverse but united in grievances. Edward, a board accountant, contacted anonymously. Terrified but conscience-stricken. Confirmed no vote on my fines, Barbara dictated. Tip: check landscaping budget versus actual work. I requested records. She delayed. Edward leaked invoices. Michael compared satellite images. Minimal changes despite $40,000 yearly to evergreen lawn. Puzzle complete when Harold spotted their truck at Barbara's, installing a fountain and deck. Fraud. Our dues funding her luxuries while harassing others. Anger solidified. Time for exposure at the quarterly meeting. Our alliance prepped. Michael slides, packets for attendees. I consulted old Army buddy Tom, now surveyor. Confirmed easement ironclad. Referred lawyer Laura Simmons, HOA expert. Beautiful case, she said. Pattern for class action. Hold easement. Expose abuses first. Emily helped assemble packets, anxious but resolute. Can't believe this. Peace needs justice, I replied. Meeting night. Packed room, 50-plus attendees. Barbara preened, unaware. Agenda droned. I waited for open floor. Robert Thompson, 142, Carter Lane. Presentation on enforcement and finances. She bristled. Not for grievances. This is public interest, I countered. Michael's slide lit. Governance review. Room hushed. Barbara's smugness cracked. I detailed Harold's post, Linda's lawn, Michael's citation. Nods rippled. Then financials, budgets versus photos, invoices, truck at Barbara's. Gasps. Board stared in horror. Just facts, seeking explanation. Barbara erupted. Slander. Private contract. Weak. Room turned. In fury, she pointed. You started this with your gate. This isn't over. You'll respect rules. Threat before witnesses. Our trap sprung. Post-meeting buzz. Stories flooded. Board panicked. Edward messaged. Demanding answers. Barbara stonewalled. 3 days later. My gate entangled in massive chains. 3 huge locks. Sign claiming board order. Overkill desperation. Filmed it all. Harold witnessed. She and a guy. Making it uncuttable. Then sirens. Ambulance raced the long way to Barbara's, her mother. Direct path. My drive blocked by her. Paramedics loaded her mom. Barbara saw us. Realization hit. Face ashen. Phone dropped. She trapped her own kin. Chaos. Medics berated her for delay. Deputy arrived. I approached. Explained dispute. Provided evidence. Harold corroborated. Barbara shrieked denials, but admitted under pressure. I grinder cut the chains. Sparks flying. Satisfying roar. Report noted obstructions. Emergency impact. Barbara's world crumbled. Next day, story spread. Board distanced. Edward called. Emergency meeting. Resignation or they quit. Laura drafted demands. Personal liability notices. Resignation. Fine voids. Audit from her pocket. Attached easement proof. Her actions fraudulent. Meeting. Full house. Barbara entered broken. Signed resignation silently. Left. Cheers. Edward apologized. Voided fines. Ordered audit. Election. I declined presidency. Nominated Harold. He won. Declared his post a landmark. Audit. $180,000 embezzled. Groceries. Taxes. Trips. Turned to DA. Felonies. Her mom survived, but impaired. Family sued her. House sold. Proceeds seized. Whispering Pines reformed. Simpler rules. Oversight. Refunds. My binder archived. Life quieted. One evening on the porch, Emily beside me. Our granddaughter catching fireflies. Thinking of her? No. Of what we defended. True peace earned. What do you think about injustice and overreach in everyday life? Share your views in the comments. Take a stand on dealing with bullies and unfair systems. Your stories could spark change.